Hi. So this is kind of a slightly more impromptu one for the Halloween type stuff. I am holding the Elder Wand. I have a witch's hat, and I am wearing my very proud Hufflepuff t-shirt. Yeah, I'm loyal. Yeah, I'm pretty much loyal. That's kind of me, for the most part. This is just going to be one of the other Halloween videos, obviously. This one is going to be me talking about the different Pokemon that I have that are based off of different either Harry Potter characters or Harry Potter things. You'll understand the things when I get to certain things. I'm not going to wear the hat the entire time because it likes to flop around, but I will put it here in the background. Here, Pumpkin, wear a hat. There, Pumpkin has a hat. I also have my Deathly Hallows wand. There. I also pulled out Fleur's wand. This is just one of my favorite ones. I'm not a big fan of green, but Fleur's wand is just so pretty. I love it. That green pumpkin. And McGonagall's wand. I got a bunch of these. Just resin wands. I think you've seen them before, and something else where I talked about Harry Potter at some other point in time. So yes, we have all of those wands, and I'm going to turn my light here in the background to yellow because Hufflepuff. Hey, they got Newt's Commander. They have Tonks. I don't necessarily care for Twilight, but they have Cedric Diggory because I actually like Robert Pattinson as Cedric Diggory. They have Professor Sprout. And our house ghost is, of course, the Fat Friar, who I've actually met in person at a convention that we had near where I live that's called British Fest. I live near Omaha, Nebraska, and, I live in Lincoln, Nebraska, which is an hour away from Omaha, Nebraska, for any of you who may not necessarily know the layout of Nebraska. Lincoln is the capital. Omaha is our largest city. But we have like a British Fest con that they had like 5 years in a row, and I think my mom and I went to all 5 years of it. They haven't had it last year because of COVID. They didn't have it this year because of COVID, possibly. And they didn't have the year previously, unfortunately, because they didn't have enough people to help run it. So I don't know if that's ever going to come back, but if anybody from Britfest watches these videos at some point in time, hi, we had a lot of fun. Here's me dressed in a steampunk outfit. So, Harry Potter Pokemon. A few more things to put in the background first. I have a Thestral. Thestral in the background. I also have Nagini. I don't know what's going to happen. Nagini in the movie, in the, Crimes of Grindelwald, Fantastic Beast stuff. And then I, of course, have James's Patronus, / Harry's Patronus. Gotta love Patroni. I've done it before to figure out what my Patronus is, and I think I've had Dog, and I think I've had Raven, so it goes back and forth for what I have for my Patronus. But let's get into the Pokemon. So, I'm just doing these in numeral order in regards to the Pokemon index number, which is usually the normal order I tend to do them in anyway. So, starting in the beginning, the first one is Salazar, who is an Arbok that I bred that is male, has Intimidate, has a serious nature, and likes to thrash about. And of course, he is named after Salazar Slytherin. Now, I'm a Hufflepuff. I don't necessarily have a problem with Slytherin House in the concept, ambitious is not a problem, cunning is not a problem, those types of things are not a problem. I don't necessarily like the fact that they make it that almost all the bad guys are from Slytherin. But I've seen some other put it in this way. It's if you keep sorting people that way again and again and again, and it's all of these different pure blood families that keep going in there, and it's kind of reinforcing this stereotype. Of course, there's the other side of that of, Severus became good. Severus, no. Severus Snape was a horrible human being. Horrible human being. Ray Fiennes was an awesome human being. May he rest in peace. But Snape was a horrible human being. But, you know, Salazar Slytherin, of course, he's one of the 4 founders of Hogwarts. He is a Parselmouth. He left a giant basilisk in the Chamber of Secrets. Yeah, that's a, yeah. There's thoughts that it was left there to protect the school, and that the only reason that the heir of Slytherin thing became a problem was because his heirs kind of took his concept of pure blood to the nth degree, and that, you know, they just kind of, you know, because the serpent with the basilisk would obey a descendant of Salazar Slytherin. So you have that. And then the descendants then just kind of forced it to act that way. And then after so long, it just kind of became so lonely that it's like, I will do whatever my master tells me to do because I'm so lonely and I don't want to be lonely anymore. Because, you know, it's been underneath the castle for 1,000 years. And yeah, I probably slept a fair amount of that time, but it also had to eat and do some other things. So it's probably, you know, it probably got to the point where it just kind of went insane, and then it just obeyed whatever, you know, whatever Tom told it to do, and then whatever Ginny, of course, told it to do, and it was, you know, when Tom was possessing her. But Salazar Slytherin, of course, you know, the Horcrux that goes along with him is the locket. I do have a copy of the locket downstairs. I just don't have it with me right now. It's sitting next to my Harry Potter movies. So we have that one. Next up, we have my Alola Exeggutor, which I actually only recently bred, but it is named Willow after the Whomping Willow. His female has a frisky nature, or frisk for its ability, excuse me, has Rash for its nature, and is alert to sounds. The reason I went with this, I don't care that much for Exeggutor in and of itself, but I actually like the Alolan Exeggutor a fair amount. So I was like, well, I want to use this for something. And of course, the Alolan Exeggutor, if you mess with its tail, it will whack you. So I'm like, Whomping Willow, that works. You know, of course, that's the tree that Harry and Ron crash into at the beginning of the second book, second movie with the flying car, of course. And then, of course, you know, in the third book, it's, you know, oh, it's guarding this tunnel that leads to the Shrieking Shack and everything like that. So there's that whole thing, and we see it a few other times. I don't remember if it gets burned down at some point in time. For some reason, I have in my head it got burned down in maybe Half-Blood Prince at some point. They burned it down. The Death Eaters burned it down, or it got very much destroyed or very much badly injured during the Battle of Hogwarts. I don't remember exactly if that actually happened or not off the top of my head. So if I have that wrong, I apologize. Next up, we have one of my Scizors. This one is Hermione. I'll explain that in a minute. It's Hermione, female, has Technician, has a hardy nature, has a good perseverance for its characteristic, and it is one of the ones that I mega evolve. I just wanted something to name after Hermione, and yeah, people go well, why didn't you use a Mischievous or something like that, or a Mismagius or whatever else? There is a Mismagius later in this video. But I don't really care. I mean, I love Hermione in the books, and I love Hermione in the movies. Emma Watson is amazing. Love her. Kind of wish she had ended up with Harry instead of Ron. I'm in that wheelhouse. Yeah. But you know, she's brilliant and she's amazing. And well, scissors are big and red, and they're also kind of this, you know. I just kind of went okay, I'm just gonna name it Hermione. As I said, I have 2 other ones. One's named, you know, Pepper, and one name's, you know, Tony for Tony and Pepper from Iron Man and such. Next up, we have my my house founder. We have Helga, who is my Linoone. Is one of my Linoons. I have 4. 2 regular, 1 shiny, and then the Obstagoon. Okay, so I have 2 Obstagoons because I have a regular and a shiny Obstagoon. So I got a bunch of those ones. But Helga, Linoone, female, has Gluttony, Gluttony for its ability, is gentle and likes to thrash about. I hate that everybody beats up on the Hufflepuffs. I'm yes, she may have taken all the rest, as in, you know, the rest of the ones that none of the other houses wanted. But I mean, come on. Their common room is near the kitchen. As I said, they have Tonks, they have Cedric Diggory, They have Professor Sprout. Those are the main ones that we see. There are a few other ones that we see in the books that are also other Hufflepuffs, of course. I don't remember, none of the Death Eaters are really Hufflepuffs. I mean, like, Death Eaters are loyal to Voldemort, but they're also, like, loyal out of fear. And that's a different type of loyalty than, like, loyalty out of, like, you earn this person's loyalty to you. And I think that's kind of more like what the Hufflepuff type of loyalty is that, like, they earn, the person who has their loyalty had to kind of earn that loyalty. Like, Tonks, of course, Tonks is the child of a Gryffindor and a Slytherin. And she's a Hufflepuff because her mom is, of course, Andromeda Tonks, Andromeda Black, formerly. And her father is, of course, Teddy Tonks, Theodore Tonks. May he rest in peace. And, of course, Tonks is the, Mephemorgus, whatever, where she can, change her facial features and stuff like that. And, of course, she ended up with Lupin, but if we ever, I don't know if there'll ever be a Pokemon that I want to name after Tonks. That might be something down the line. But, I'm a Hufflepuff, proud Hufflepuff. We're loyal, we're just, not afraid of toil. Hufflepuffs, don't be so mean to Hufflepuffs. Please, we're nice people. Of course, her, Helga's, the Horcrux that went along with her was, of course, the goblet. The little, the cup, Hufflepuff's cup. Next up, now we have Mismagius, which is my Mismagius, which is named Minerva, after, of course, Minerva McGonagall. Is female, has Levitate for its ability, has a serious nature, and is highly persistent, which I'm like, yes, that is Professor McGonagall in a nutshell. She is serious and she's highly persistent. She also, and yeah, there's stuff that I wish had been in the movies, like the whole, like, she confronts Potter about, like, why he yelled at, Umbridge, and she's like, very good, Potter, have a biscuit. What? I wish that was in there, or, like, there's other things where we see her be a little bit more fun, like, there's, of course, the whole, she uses a spell to wake up the giant stone statues for the Battle of Hogwarts, and she's like, I've always wanted to use that spell. I love that line. I love that. That's just one of my, it's like, favorite McGonagall moment in the entire series is that. I've always wanted to use that spell. Because, like, I don't blame her. We have McGonagall, of course, Mismagius. I don't know exactly what they're going to do with her for the Crimes of Grindelwald stuff for the Fantastic Beasts, since she appeared in the last movie when timeline dictates she shouldn't have been there. So we'll see what happens with that. Next up, we have another founder, connected to a founder. It's the founder's daughter's ghost, which is the Grey Lady, which of course is named after Helena Ravenclaw. I already had a Pokemon named Helena, and I'm trying not to use, like, double names on anything. So this one is just called the Grey Lady, and it is a Dusknoir that I have that is female, has pressure, is lax, and is alert to sounds, and of course shiny. This one is actually one that I actually bred. I was not aiming to breed it. It actually just hatched while I was trying to breed. I think I was just trying to breed, like, a regular Dusknoir, regular Duskull to get a regular Dusknoir. I was just hatching a bunch of stuff for whatever reason, and shiny. I wish they kept it the blood red. That, like, the shiny Dusclops and the Dusknoir and the Duskull are, but just one shiny is good. And I do Pokemon Go, and I caught a bunch of shiny Duskulls on the Pokemon Go community day where they had that one. And I caught a really good one. So we'll see what happens with those. Helena, of course, is, the Ravenclaw ghost. She's the Great Lady. She is not really mentioned until, the 7th book. And, she's friends with Luna, and, she tells Harry about the diadem and, like, where it is, and that's in the Worm of Requirement, of course, and after, of course, we have the diadem, which I like. I think the diadem is beautiful. And, so we have that. She, of course, stole her mother's diadem at one point and ran away, and, the Bloody Baron is the one that killed her, but she, like, hid the diadem in, like, a hollow tree somewhere. And then eventually Tom Riddle kind of whittled it out of her and, whittled out of her the location of it so he could use it. And then, of course, next up we have Ilvermorny. Ilvermorny is my shiny Golurk. Has a bold nature, likes to thrash about, and is shiny, obviously. Is named after, of course, the American Wizarding School, Ilvermorny. I, if I remember correctly, am a Thunderbird. So I'm a Thunderpuff. To two of those, I'm a Thunderbird. Which I need to do some re-looking in like Ilvermorny and like reacquaint myself with Ilvermorny. But I always had the idea that's like, so for Ilvermorny, do they like, you know, because like Hogwarts uses the owls. Please tell me that the Ilvermorny letters are all delivered by like Bald Eagle. I know it's technically the school is in Canada, but like it's the North American, you know, wizarding school. And you know, I was like, please tell me that they're delivered by bald eagles, because that would be hilarious if they are. If that's where the letters come from. I was like, Mommy, why is there a bald eagle at our front door? Oh, sweetie, you're just getting your Ilvermorny letter. It's okay. Just give it a dead mouse and it'll leave after you take the letter from it. Why do I have to give it the dead mouse? Well, it's your letter. Fine. Just look at the letter. I do want them to expand more on Ilvermorny, you know, in the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, of course. We have, you know, Queenie and Tina that, of course, went to Ilvermorny. Don't really, you know, we know this whole backstory about it, that it was, you know, founded by a descendant of Salazar Slytherin, and she was awesome. And, you know, so we'll see what happens with that. I would love it if they just did, like, a whole movie that was, like, the origin of Ilvermorny. Just do that for a movie at some point in time. Like, just, like, do this whole movie about, like, you know, the descendants. Seven, I can't remember her name, but like, you know, she leaves England and, you know, she steals Salazar Slytherin's wand and she escapes, and then she ends up in America, and she then founds Ilvermorny with her husband, and, you know, just to see some more of that. That would have been great. That would have been awesome. I would love it if they did that in a movie, or at least show some of that in a movie at some point in time. They could just do a whole movie about like the founding of Hogwarts. I mean, yeah, we know a lot about it, but we would still like to see a lot of these other characters. You know, we have Ilvermorny, of course, and I am a Thunderbird, as I said. And of course, they have the 4 houses, which I cannot remember what all of them are. Next up, we have Fawkes, who is my shiny Talonflame, is male, has flame body, good perseverance, and of course shiny, as I just said. This one, because I've got a couple of shiny ones or so, or I've had a couple of shiny ones. This one, I don't remember if I didn't breed this one, and I don't think I caught it. I think I got it via trading, and then because in Sword and Shield you can nickname Pokemon that you get via trading, as long as they haven't been nicknamed already, which I love that feature, and I love that ability to do that. Fawkes is, of course, Dumbledore's, you know, Phoenix that he had, and, you know, Fawkes left after Dumbledore died. I don't think we're ever going to see Fawkes again, but it would be nice if we did, or, like, I would have liked if, like, Fawkes went with Harry or something like that. That would have been nice. But, yeah, maybe a little bit too much power there for Harry to have. But, you know, and we've got this whole stuff going on with Crimes of Grindelwald at this point in time, where we'll see what happens with that, because it appears that Credence is a Dumbledore and he has a Phoenix of his own, which possibility that Phoenix could be, you know, could be Fawkes, or could not. We don't know. We'll find out down the line, because we don't know if Dumbledore has Fawkes at this point in time. I don't think so, but I'll see. We don't, you know, I don't know what'll happen with that. COVID threw a wrench in that, and then other things happened. So, but yeah, I love Fawkes. I just love the, you know, I've always loved the concept of like the Phoenix, and, you know, the whole bit where, you know, Dumbledore uses Fawkes to escape the castle when he's, you know, in the 5th book when he's being confronted by Fudge and Umbridge and everything, and he escapes that way. And Shockbolt's like, you may not like him, Minister, but you gotta admit, Dumbledore's got style. I love that. I love that line. I'm like, yeah, the man's got style. I'll give him that. His taste in clothes in the books is a little bit odd. But let's see here. Then, of course, we have another founder. We have Godric, who is a male Pyroar that I have. Has Unnerve, is brave, and is alert to sounds. And he is, of course, Godric Gryffindor, is, of course, the founder of Gryffindor House. Which... So, my nieces and nephew, older niece, somewhere between Hufflepuff and Ravenclaw, leaning a little bit more towards Hufflepuff in my opinion. The other niece, Slytherin, 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 Slytherin. And my nephew is basically Gryffindor, because I describe him as he's Gryffindor to the point where he will run headlong into a pile of knives because insert thing. I love my nephew, but he's the literal thing of like fire, aim, ready. You know, it's like, I'm gonna fire first and then I'll look and see what other the heck happened. I'm like, oh god. Love my nephew too. If you watch this, hi. I do love you, but yes. Of course, you know, Pyroars, you know, big lions and everything like that. I'm annoyed because I'm slightly annoyed at a Pyro at the moment, well, at a Litleo at the moment, because in my Poképelago, in Pokemon Ultra Moon, the other day, a shiny one popped up. A legitimate shiny one popped up in the Poképelago. I wasn't sure if shinies in the Poképelago were even possible, but this one was. And it left. And I'm like, nyeh. And I was so annoyed about it. I'm probably going to be annoyed about it for a while, but I'm just like, oh my god, that's not fair. But, you know, Godric Gryffindor is, of course, you know, one of the 4 founders, of course, founder of Gryffindor House. He, of course, had the Sword of Gryffindor that Harry used to, of course, slay the Basilisk. And then Dumbledore used it to destroy a Horcrux, and then so did Ron. And then, you know, Neville then used the sword to chop off the head of Nagini, of course, at the Battle of Hogwarts, which, go Neville. Love Neville. You know, we have that. You know, so, you know, Godric's there and everything, and, you know, there's the whole theory that, like, oh, Harry might be a descendant of Godric Gryffindor, or that Dumbledore is a descendant of Godric Gryffindor, or insert whatever theory there, which I'm like, I can go for either one. They could both be a descendant, I don't know. And then, of course, we have, this is one of the ones where I'm like, it's named after a thing. And I actually misspelled its name when I was doing it, but since I got it via trading, I couldn't change it. So, we have my shiny Bewear that is called Fidelius, which I misspelled it. It should be an I-U-S in it. When I was spelling it out, I thought I had spelled it correctly, and I hadn't, unfortunately, and I can't go back and change it. It is my shiny Bewear. It is male, or it's female, has fluffy, has adamant nature, is mischievous, and is, of course, shiny, as you can tell. And I love Bewear. They're adorable. And I wanted a shiny one, and I finally found one, like, on, you know, Pokemon Home, where I got it for a trade and everything, and I got the shiny that I wanted for that. And I think it was a fairly decent shiny, if I remember correctly. But it's, of course, named after the Fidelius charm that is, of course, used to, you know, hide a location. You know, they use it, you know, the main use is, of course, they use it to hide where James, Lily, and Harry are when Harry is a baby, while they're hiding from Voldemort. And, of course, Wormtail rats them out. And then, of course, we have the Fidelius charm is over, you know, number 12, or number 13 Grimwald. No, it's number 12 Grimwald Place, excuse me. Is over that and everything, of course, for where Sirius lives, and that's where the Order's base is. So we have that. So it's been used several times throughout the course of, a couple of times throughout the course of the series, which is kind of nice. It's a very interesting spell because, you know, it's like, oh, I'm going to tell you something, but then, you know, I'm going to put you into the Fidelius thing, so you're my secret keeper or whatever, and, you know, you can only get the information from the secret keeper, but then you cannot pass that information along, type of thing. I don't know if we're going to see that pop up at all in the, you know, Fantastic Beasts movies at any point in time. I guess that's a possibility, but we'll see what happens. I don't really think it will. Next up, we, of course, have Rowena. Rowena Ravenclaw, who is, of course, the founder of Ravenclaw. She is a Corviknight that I have. Rowena, Corviknight, female, docile, unnerved, and takes plenty of siestas. She is, of course, the founder of Ravenclaw House, the house of, like, wit and intelligence and everything. And, you know, the main Ravenclaws, of course, that we interact with are, of course, Luna and Cho Chang. And I love Luna Lovegood. My niece, the older one, is kind of like a carbon copy of Luna. Even kind of looks like her with the really, really blonde hair. And the very easily distracted concepts that go with Luna. I love Luna. She's awesome. But, you know, I love Luna and everything. And, you know, Ravenclaw, I mean, like, yeah, I'm a Hufflepuff. I'm mostly Hufflepuff, but I do value knowledge. So it's like I've gotten like Ravenclaw sometimes on stuff, but the majority of the time I get Hufflepuff, which I have no problem with. But I do love Ravenclaw as well. And of course, it's a raven, but it's an eagle, but it's a bird. So I'm just like, this is what you get for your Pokemon in this one. So that would be all 4 founders that I've covered. She, of course, has the diadem, is, of course, the artifact that Tom turns into a, Horcrux from her is, of course, her diadem and everything. There's a statue of her in the common room, and, of course, the way you have to get into the common room for the Ravenclaws, of course, you have to, answer a riddle and everything. That's just funny. I just, answer whatever riddle. Was that it, or did I have more? Nope, that was the last Harry Potter Pokemon that I have. I was like, I don't think I had any more after that, but I thought I did. Nope, that would be it for my Harry Potter Pokemon. This is just one of the ones that was like, well, I wanted to do this one anyway, and I had the notes, and, witches and wizards, and, ghosts are in here, and monsters, so I'm just like, Halloween stuff. There's another Halloween video to pop up for this stuff, so it helps me fill in one of the other squares on that, because it would have gotten done eventually. And, because I've done, like, the Marvel ones, and I've done the, the Marvel/DC for the comic books. I've done, I've got Disney ones that I'm going to do at some point in time. I did, like, the anime ones, and I did the, a couple of other ones, the book ones, Game of Thrones ones, a few other things here and there that I've done as well for some of the other ones. I did like the making of for like the Fruits Basket Pokemon, which I'm still working on right now. And if I had caught the shiny Litleo, and if it had been female, that would have been my Kisa for my, Fruits Basket Pokemon, because the only freaking tiger Pokemon is Raikou, and I love Raikou. It's a great Pokemon. It's yellow and black, and it's a tiger, which is awesome. But ran away. Also, I was trying to figure out a different Pokemon to use for Kisa, because it's like, well, she turns into a tiger, but she's so docile. But that'll be for at some point when I do finally finish getting all of those ones finished for the Fruits Basket Pokemon, and then I'll do another video about that. But that's pretty much this video here for these Pokemon that I have that are based off of Harry Potter characters. At some point in the future, there may be more. I was trying to think if there would be a Pokemon that I would want to like named after like Newt Scamander. I'm like, is there that type of a Pokemon? Not really at the moment. Queenie or Tina, I wouldn't mind doing something after as well. And we'll see what else happens with that. What else happens with the Crimes of Grindelwald? That may result in something else that I end up wanting to name after. I don't really like naming characters after villains. I at one point did have a Pokemon named after Bellatrix, and I think I still have it, but I think I forgot to put it in here. I had like a Sneasel Weavile, I think at some point that I named after Bellatrix, but I think I got rid of it. I might do another one at some point, but not at the moment. But that's what we have for that. So I thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you enjoy the other Halloween type videos that I have that'll be coming up. So happy Halloween. Bye. You might belong in Hufflepuff, where they are just and loyal. Those patient Hufflepuffs are true and unafraid of toil.